I want you, if you're at home right now, to go pull out that dusty binder of hockey cards. Go ahead. Go find it. Open it up. Find your favorite player. Now, if you happen to be a Jets fan, I really want you to pay attention. Because chances are that photo of Trouba on that Young Guns card or Patrick Laine on that sick-looking rookie card in your hand was taken by the guy sitting across from me today. And I'm very happy to have in the studio Mr. Jonathan Kozub. Jonathan, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Kyle. Yeah, great to be here.
Appreciate you coming onto the pod. The website is pointshotphotography.com. On Instagram, at pointshotphotography.
Yeah, point_shot_photography.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. My bad. That's the rust coming through on my part.
Yeah.
On Twitter, at pointshotphotog.
Yes.
Okay. And you don't have Facebook?
Actually, I sort of do now. It's sort of set up. Honestly, it's probably point_shot. Same as Instagram.
Okay.
If you find it that way, but
No, nobody goes on Facebook anyway. It's
that's my thing.
And even, I guess I'll mention this, gettyimages.ca/photos/Jonathan-Kozub. At least that's
I would assume so.
At least that's what it was on your tent tree link thing.
Yeah, you could find it on there.
Okay, excellent. Well, that's what it is. So, I'm really excited to have you here because we're going to talk about an aspect of photography that most people never get into, and that would be professional sports photography. So you have a couple, clients you're listed on your website. And most notable would be the Winnipeg Jets of the National Hockey League, as well as the National Hockey League themselves for other events, the Manitoba Moose of the American Hockey League, Hockey Manitoba, and then you also shoot local independent sports, Manitoba Junior Hockey League. I don't know, anything like that?
Not so much. More, I do Hockey Manitoba stuff. A lot of minor sports.
Okay.
Minor hockey associations will book me to shoot their teams or tournaments, etc.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So according to your LinkedIn profile, you've been shooting since, now I believe it said 2002 with the Moose.
Yeah.
Okay, now because a Global article, the video, they said 2004. So I was pretty sure they messed that up.
You know what?
I'm more accurate than Global.
Yeah. 2004 since the beginning of the building.
Okay.
2002 I started in the old building.
Okay.
In the old arena. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask about that. So
You've done your research. You've done your research.
I try and do my research beforehand. Yeah. So I wanted to ask. So you started shooting in the old Winnipeg arena.
Yes.
Yeah. So with the Moose in 2002. So what was that like compared to shooting in Bell MTS?
You know what? It's night and day difference. The old arena was, I think, something that we had all visited in the past. It was a really special place. It was a cool place. Mm-hmm. They don't build arenas like that anymore.
No.
So it kind of sometimes felt like you're in your own basement. You know what I mean? Whereas the new buildings are brand new, state of the art. Mm-hmm. It's a big difference. Lighting wise, obviously the lighting at the new rink is better. And especially recently we installed LED lighting, which is fantastic for photography.
Okay.
But in the old days, you're shooting with, we're going back 2002 or 2003. I mean,
did they have strobes in the ceiling and stuff back then?
No, we didn't have strobes yet. Some photographers maybe who shot events, maybe big events like juniors, maybe brought their own in.
Oh, like the World Juniors in '99.
Yeah, maybe guys would have brought their own in for that stuff, but we didn't though at the time, and that stuff's pretty pricey.
So what did you do for like flashes and stuff like during game action? Just shoot with natural light,
available light, and I mean, this is a thing. Like, if you're shooting even at 1600 ISO back in 2000
on film,
2002 on digital.
Oh, okay.
On digital, but I mean, the grain was awful back then. The grain was, compared to now, you could shoot at 1600 like no problem. You shoot at 2000, 2500 ISO, and it's fixable. It doesn't even look bad, right? But back in the day, it was very grainy.
I'm actually stunned that you were shooting on film or non-digital in 2002.
Yeah.
Do you remember what type of camera it was?
It was nothing. We started actually just doing. We started with like basic, not point and shoot, but kind of like a mixed. What do you call them? I would call it like a travel camera kind of thing.
Okay.
That's where we started going, and then one of the guys there, he picked up a Rebel. And he's like, oh, this is pretty cool and affordable for what we could try. And then so I ended up getting a Rebel. I started on a Rebel, actually, for Moose, if you believe that. Because the other gear was so pricey. You know what I mean? And
I guess it was IHL, or no, it would have been AHL then.
Yeah. But I mean, let's be real.
budget.
We were making no money then, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so we started with that really low. I mean, my first lens was like a Sigma 70 to 200,
Okay.
2.8. And, but yeah, we shot there. The lighting was neat. It was just the way the lights were positioned.
Mm-hmm.
It actually, there were certain spots in the ice where it might be a little brighter than others. So if you got a guy in the right spot, they got this really neat shadows on him. And I think that was really cool. And then other spots were.
Did, like, I don't know how many people are going to be familiar with that building. I love that old arena. Like, that place was my playground. Like,
Yeah.
you could run amok into like old corners and the concourses that were like, it was so cavernous and you could just get lost and play around during a game. But did you shoot from, like, the upper deck would have been curtained off. So did you like kind of go to the bottom of the upper deck where the curtain was and shoot down? Did you go from that old press box in the top? Like,
to shoot, you know what? Honestly,
I don't remember there being catwalks really. Like,
shot from the glass most of the time.
Okay.
There was a. This is so long ago. Right?
I know. Sorry.
There was basic catwalk system, which it was just scary. You'd use it to get access up top. It wasn't like we have, nothing like we have in the modern buildings.
Okay.
I shot a couple photos from the press box sometimes.
Okay.
But actually, the last moose goal ever was shot from the press box looking down. That was kind of a cool angle.
The last game?
The last game
against the Grizzlies.
Yeah, October. November.
I think it was
6th.
November, yeah.
November 6th, 2004.
Yeah. Utah Grizzlies. I was there.
Overtime loss. You were there, though, right?
I was there, yeah.
Everybody was there, right? Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was shot from up top. But usually we stay down low. To be honest, back in the day, I was probably more shy than anything. I really didn't. I didn't push my boundaries too much where he could go, whereas today I would try to get it anywhere. You know what I mean?
That's understandable.
Yeah, it was still a very new thing for me.
So 2002, is that when you first started shooting professionally or shooting in any type?
Okay, so I started shooting. Do you want a complete history here? We can go back.
Sure, yeah.
I've been shooting most of my life.
Okay.
My mother got me a camera in the mid '80s, and I used that camera for years, just a 35 millimeter. I actually had a 110 before that.
Okay.
You've seen the film on that. They're awful trying to even scan them these days. But so I had just a basic camera. It wasn't even an SLR. But I used to do it for everything. If I had school projects, I would take my own pictures, provide my own content. And it was just something I liked doing.
Okay.
Right? So basically, how we're stumbling into the whole hockey thing is I guess the Moose joined the IHL 2001, right? And I was a ticket holder, right?
AHL?
The AHL. Sorry, IHL ended in 2001.
Okay.
2001-02. The Moose joined the AHL.
And the Canucks experiment happened.
That's right. It was we were in the Canucks system there.
Yeah.
And their development team. And basically, so I had front row seats. And I would take pictures, actually. Nobody stopped you have the camera back then, right?
Yeah.
I would take pictures. And somewhere along the line, my account rep was always like, oh, we should get you in or something. But the Moose didn't have a really good website. Like back then, I think it was even outsourced to the U.S., a U.S. company.
Okay.
So like when there's a press release, it's just like, July 7th, whatever. And then whatever it is, Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Basic.
And then the basic press release, there's no pictures, nothing, right? So they got a guy in from Alberta. He moved here and I hit it off with him really good. His name's Mark Ciampa. The guy's a phenomenal web developer, everything. And he had a whole vision. He wanted to create the... he redid the sites. He did everything more visual.
Okay.
Now we're talking 2000. I think so I was shooting from 02 to 03, just submitting the photos to the Moose. Right. I think we really got into it by the end of 2003. They started using my photos for game day stories. Right.
Okay.
And then in 2004, another guy who was with the Moose, who was actually shooting, he was going to move up to run the power ring. Right. He was a game day producer type of guy.
Okay, so this would have been a new building at this point.
So then at that point, they said, okay, we want to get you in, start shooting every game in 2004, officially when we were like, we're going to do this. Right?
Okay, so 02 to 04, you were kind of like unofficial freelancer for the Moose sort of thing.
Yes.
Okay.
But they were using photos by 2003 for sure.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And you look back at them, I should show you sometime. They're not the greatest, but back
then,
they looked awesome.
I love whenever you post some old throwbacks from the old arena and stuff.
Oh, if you knew the work I had to do to get that grain out of there.
And then I know we talked about this once, and you because I had some garbage $90 digital camera from Radio Shack.
Yeah.
That I took to a bunch of those last games there for the WHA night when they wore those little Jets jerseys.
Yeah.
And I lost all of, like, I mean, I had the photos for years, but I think when I cleaned stuff like 10 years ago, they were so bad. I think I got rid of the disc.
Yeah.
So I looked for them because I wanted to show you.
Yeah.
And they're gone. I can't find them. I mean, they were so blurry and like the camera was so bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
You know what?
I don't have any pictures.
Some of that stuff's pretty neat though. I mean, technology's come along so far.
Yeah.
Like I've got software now that runs like AI stuff.
Okay.
And I mean, obviously you can't fix what's really bad, but some photos that are decent, you can actually
But the thing is, the way that I saved them in the first place back in like 05.
Did you shrink them down or something?
No,
or?
I saved them. Well, they were such a small file or whatever, but I saved them to like a DVD into a slideshow. Like I didn't have the original file. So I would have had to like take a screenshot while viewing or something like that.
That's what we did back then. Okay, I gotta tell you, when I tried looking for old photos, like 2000, I had a great shot of Alex Auld back in 2003.
Okay.
I don't think I had the original. I had a file named Alex Auld 01 or something. It's like, knowing now what I know, I probably saved it. Did I save it at the highest res? Probably not. Did I, it might have been touched up. And I would have loved to have the original. I can't find them.
Yeah.
So at a certain point there, until you actually make a decision, like I'm going to start archiving everything, leave originals, and then do your edits.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that's missing. I wish I could have back. What did we know back then?
Yeah.
Right.
Everything was so different. And transitioning to digital and everything like that. And yeah, it was crazy.
Crazy ties. Yeah. But,
so
where do you want to go from here?
So
should I tell you?
Yeah. So 04, then you started working with the Moose, I guess, like the full time. And then it just kind of prospered from there, I guess, eh?
It just kind of grew from there. I mean, I didn't know a heck of a lot compared to now, but you just you're dabbling in it. You're getting deeper and deeper into it. You're buying more and more gear. You're shooting more and more. Looking back, it wasn't bad, but it's one of those things like, man, I wish I knew. I wish I knew then what I know now, kind of thing. Yeah.
So you never took any schooling for photography. It just kind of happened.
I wish they had that. Now, when you go to high school now, kids, they offer that in schools, right?
Yeah.
No, everything was self-taught. I had books galore. I read all kinds of books. Anything I could find on the internet, download books, buy books. In my case, hockey books. I actually, if I see a hockey book, I have to buy it.
Okay.
That's my collection. I look at pictures, and that's what I've been doing for years. I study angles, so you guys, and you look at that and you think, you know what, I can do that, or I can try this, do that, and you learn different things, right? So that's basically, it was all self-taught.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think a lot of people are like that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you one thing, okay, and I'm not saying it's bad to go to school. You can go to school and pay somebody tons of money to teach you whatever. But when you get thrown into the fire and here you go, you got to get these shots, you learn very quickly in the field.
I bet, especially in sports.
In sports. And it moves quick. And I mean, like now, I'm confident now. Back then, not that I wasn't, but I think you get a certain confidence that grows with you. Like, you can get that shot or you can do this. Whereas back then, it's like, oh.
Well, you've been fire tested. I mean, almost 20 years.
Yeah. And you know what? It does make a difference, right?
Sure.
Whereas I know I see a lot of, and this is not trashing me. I mean, had I gone to school, I would have learned some of the stuff I learned way sooner, right?
Okay.
But like, you come out of it with a different mindset, I think. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like you really got to work where you want to be.
Okay.
Like I spent all summers learning new shooting techniques, knew this, knew that. But the killer thing was like, and I can't test this out till October. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like different settings and different stuff. So it's a long process. Yeah.
Have you ever shot any other sports other than hockey?
Like minor stuff.
Just minor?
Like I've shot, I do a bit of baseball, soccer.
But not gold eye stuff, not single or double A?
No. Okay. No. And I don't know, baseball, for me, it's kind of like you find your thing and kind of stick to it. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do.
Just stick to hockey.
Yeah. I like baseball. I love baseball to watch it. I'd love to even go there. I've shot it at the, I don't even know what levels you call it. The teenage levels. I don't know what they are.
I don't know.
Compared to hockey, I don't know what you call them. But it's one of those sports where I find baseball, it's a challenging thing if guys are outside shooting it. Lighting's always changing. You're shooting once with the sun out.
Yeah.
Then a cloud comes over in the middle of the bat, and then it keeps changing. And I haven't. I haven't mastered it. I could shoot baseball. I've shot stuff, but it's not kind of my thing. You know, when you're in hockey, you're in a controlled lighting area, or I'm controlling it with my own lights, whatever.
No, a controlled environment for sure.
It's controlled,
you can
right?
Strobes, you don't have the sun.
That's right.
Shadows.
And you know what? You know, you could be shooting really nicely at 200 ISO on a bright sunny day, 400 ISO, whatever, if you want to crank it up a bit. And then all of a sudden a dark cloud comes in, it's going to rain, and the sun's gone. Like you've jacked your ISO way up, 2000, 3200, whatever, because I want to get that crisp ball, right?
Yep.
So.
And you got to recover either in camera or try and salvage it later.
That's right.
Somehow.
So what do you say? I'm by far not an expert in baseball, or I wouldn't even try football because you need the lenses you need for that stuff.
Like
it's just
big time millimeter.
Oh yeah, I'll need like a $10,000 lens, and we're talking that could be what, a 400 2.8 or something or whatever. You know?
Yeah,
what I
like
mean?
a 4 to 600 or
That's
something
right.
at least.
Daytime's fine, but as soon as you get under the stadium lights at night and it's dark, and this is why I like shooting hockey. Shooting hockey is you're shooting on a giant reflector.
That's true. I never thought of that.
Players are always illuminated. Doesn't matter. As long as the light hits them, you got a bit of fill coming in from the ice. It doesn't matter if you got strobes or arena lights, right? You're shooting sports like grass sports. You got the green. It's not the same.
And you don't really have flashes. Like a football stadium's not going to have the strobes.
No, because it's just too big, right?
Yeah.
Right? Your ceilings or your...
Even in a dome, it's still not going to work.
No. It would require I don't think they make lights that powerful.
So... I mean, that's a good segue. So then you've done a lot of shooting for the NHL.
Yeah.
You've done Stadium Series.
Yeah.
Did you do Winter Classic?
I've done.
I know you did
3
Heritage
events.
Classic.
So I've done a couple of Heritages, and I did the Stadium Series in Colorado.
Okay.
Last February. Now, Colorado was weird. Like, you want to talk lighting? Is that what you're saying?
like, I mean, so those are in stadiums.
Right.
So then you're using just natural light.
You're using the natural light. Now, don't forget, though, that everything is set for those events, they're geared toward broadcast, right?
Okay.
So everything...
Like TV.
For TV, yeah. So I guess we call them TV lights. It's the same stadium lights, right?
Just like the football game.
Yeah.
Or
just
baseball
like the
game would
football.
be.
So, I mean, the lighting is really good now. I would have shot those games at about 2,500 ISO, maybe. Between 2,000 and 3,200. Some guys will shoot it at 4,000. I don't like to go that high if I don't have to.
What type of shutter speed? Like
to stop the action, I like shooting at about 640. 500 minimum. Okay, here's the thing. It depends what you're looking for.
Really? I would have thought like 250. But it's that fast.
250 of a second?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
too slow.
okay. No, 250 is how I shoot with strobes. But if your strobe lights overpower the ambient light completely, then you can get away with that, right?
But if you're outside and you need the faster.
But if you're
shutter.
outside, how do you put this? If you want to get a crisp puck shot bouncing, you got to shoot high. You got to shoot over 1,000 shutter speed, I think.
So you really got to bump that ISO.
Yes, but I mean, if you're just looking at a guy coming in, a nice ISO in the neutral zone kind of thing, you can get away with 640. I think 500, depending.
But you're probably not changing that on the fly. Like you don't have time to change that.
No, I shoot manual. Also, thing about my shooting style is I don't like shooting wide aperture. I hate shooting 2.8, and the reason for that is the depth of field
and the focus.
Yes, I don't like having a player coming at you, and maybe he's looking right at you. Maybe he's kind of sharp you can't see him in the screen here.
Oh, yeah.
Sharp in the face, right? But his stick is out of focus already, right? Because he's lunging. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you're shooting like F20 or something.
Oh no, not that high. No,
Okay.
I'll shoot about 5.6.
Okay.
5.6 is nice because then I can use those other lenses, the longer L series that maybe max out.
Okay.
Or peak out at 5.6 at any part of the focal length. Mm-hmm. So at 5.6 you get a lot more usable shots than you do at 2.8. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. I wouldn't have thought.
Right?
I mean, it makes perfect sense.
But I mean, you're sacrificing shutter speed or ISO.
Now, since the ISO is jacked so high,
yeah,
do you have problems in just a regular game situation where when you're looking at the pictures later or between periods where you're like, oh man, there's gray in there?
No, because camera sensors are so good now.
Even though you're shooting on a crop.
Yeah, no, it's so good. Think about the stuff's going on the web, half of it. I mean,
it's lower resolution.
The max res we put to Getty is maybe game day 3,000, max 3,000 wide pixels.
Okay.
Secondary edits will do about 5,000. But honestly, for shooting with a crop, it's not a big difference.
Okay.
It just gives me more reach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It's not like your
1.6.
Yeah. put that on 300. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll shoot with a 420 anytime, you know?
Oh, yeah.
You know? And
I say 1.6 because he shoots with a Canon 7D too, right?
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I have a 5D Mark IV right now as well.
Okay.
And
But what's
you
the
know,
main
it's-
one though? Wouldn't you normally use the 7D?
no,
since
this
it's
year
sports?
this year I used almost entirely the 5D.
Oh, really? Okay, so
Yeah.
full frame now.
Yeah, but there's trade-offs. Okay, so I've tweaked. We use for the strobes anyway. I've played with the Pocket Wizards a little bit. I got like I don't even know how to say this for the general the general
You know what?
audience here.
Just say what you got to say.
The max you can sync with a light or with a camera, like on the 5D, is 200th of a second, right?
Okay.
And then the max you can sync. A reason I like using the 70 Mark II because you can sync at 250 still, but then you can tweak it a little bit, and with the Pocket Wizards, like you can adjust how the bars, show up on the. I don't even know what the proper term is to use for this.
I don't either.
Do you know what I'm saying?
But
Anyway,
I kind of know what you mean.
Let's just say I could, with my Mark IV, I could sync at about 400th of a second
Okay.
with the light. So I mean, there might be a bar at the bottom, but you just crop it out, right?
Right.
Like there's a, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
With the 7D, I can sync at 500th of a second,
Wow.
right? You just crop out the dark lines, whatever. So and believe me, it makes a big difference.
Okay.
Like we're talking sharp, a lot sharper images. I didn't start doing that till the end of the season, and it was really a noticeable difference.
Like this season, like
season, yeah.
like early 2020.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the last few games of the year, it's like, oh wow, these images are so sharp. But that's one thing I didn't like about the Mark IV, or the 5D Mark IV, is the sync speed. It wasn't the greatest, but the focusing on it's amazing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's got a lot of
Yeah.
focusing. Because I mean, the 7D2 is already 6-7 years old or something.
2014 maybe. Yeah, about that, I guess so, right?
So yeah. So I mean, that's already. They're almost probably gonna have to replace it soon.
Well, I don't know if they're even going to go that way. Who knows?
Like-
Canon seems to be wanting to do with mirrorless now,
Oh yeah, I guess that's true.
right? And I guess we'll just see where it goes. I don't think there's anything of that quality yet.
What's what's your workflow like? I know there's one or two videos online on YouTube of like global with you and the moose, and then like if you're on your Instagram, you'll post stuff. So, how many pictures are you taking in a period?
I say a game. I'll tell you a game. A game is about 800.
Okay.
maybe. 800, depending what it is. Okay, if I shoot strobes, only strobes, between 600 and 800 a game. If I shoot available light too, like sometimes I'll have one camera set for strobes,
Yeah.
one set for available light. Because let's face it, when you shoot burst, you will catch a lot more chance of getting action. You get a sequence, a guy coming
for
in on
sure.
a breakaway.
Yeah.
Maybe you get 2-3 frames out of it that are really good. Whereas strobes, I can shoot once every 2 to 4 seconds, right?
Okay.
Because you gotta let them recycle, right?
So, we'll say 200 photos in a period
Yeah.
as an average. We'll just throw that out there. So then, period ends. Players go in to get ripped by Maurice. You're into the media room, which I have been in once since I'm a season ticket holder. I got to use my points once to watch the presser afterwards with Maurice, and then there was all the photographers and the media and stuff in there, and there was some photographers with their laptops in the back wall. I don't know if that's the same room you go in.
Yeah. When you walk in, I'm to the side right away.
Okay.
And then you guys go in the main area.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, by the way, when you're watching Maurice in person in the media room, that guy is intimidating. Like, first of all, I'm a huge Pomo fan. The guy's I would give him a lifetime contract. I don't care what people
he's a
think.
good guy.
I love Paul Maurice, but man, I would not want to tick that guy off.
No, he's got his sense of humor there too. And some of his comments just depends on the game. I wouldn't want to tick him off after a loss, right? But
Yeah.
a good game, you get some good smiles.
Because it's one thing watching him on TV, but like
Yeah.
when you're in the room, and I think from what I remember, I don't remember what happened, but I don't know if it was something that some stupid member of the media asked him some dumb question. And I was like, first of all, none of the media know how to use a microphone. It's like a meter away from their mouth and you can't hear anything. But anyway, that's something else. So anyway,
Yeah.
the photographers are going through their photos. How do you, you only have a few minutes to go through a couple hundred photos. Like, are you super stressed?
Okay.
Are you like, what do you do? How do you
Here's
do
the
that?
story. I cheat. I get to cheat a lot with NHL because I have an editor with me. So I have an editor in the room. She gets my photos. I give her the card between periods.
Okay.
And she works on them between periods. She puts them up on Getty. She types the captions.
So
which
while-
saves me.
okay.
So actually, I don't have to worry about that during Jets games. So basically, but I have my own things to worry about games because in addition to that, I'm shooting intermission corporate sponsorship things, I'm always flying. Once the game starts, I'm nonstop shooting.
So you're back out shooting and she's editing. And
Yeah,
like
so
going
I
through
dump my
stuff.
card, she'll grab them, she puts them up.
Okay, well, that's good. That's a lot easier.
Yes. Moose is not always the case. Moose, I'm usually by myself. I get her in once in a while for special games, but usually that's where I'm on my own. In cases like that, I'm shooting. During the period, I'm looking at my photos, like, okay, that's a good action shot. That's a good. Basically, I'm looking for story content.
So you're making mental notes of like which file?
Either you protect them in your camera.
Okay.
And then after you can, I use Photo Mechanic. You familiar with that?
No.
So Photo Mechanic, it's
I've heard
a tool.
of it, but never used it.
It's basically a tool we use a lot for, putting stuff on Getty with captions. I have to tag everything. Everything I shoot for the league has to be tagged, with all the basics minimum. Team.
And she does that, or you do that?
Well, I do that regardless because I still have to archive everything to the NHL.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
But once you set up the format, the template for it, you just ingest your photos, plug it in, hit the ingest button. It starts downloading your card, whatever it hasn't grabbed yet.
Yeah.
And it automatically applies all the metadata, right?
So is that you couldn't do this with Lightroom? Like this is a specialty program that
Lightroom is good for, and I use Lightroom all the time for using anything I touch up at a Moose game or even a Jets game if I'm helping out. Mm-hmm. Is Lightroom because it's fast and it keeps the workflow going. But I ingest everything first with Photo Mechanic. And that's just because it tags everything. Right?
Okay.
Where am I going with this now?
I can ask another question.
Go ask a question. I may come back to this.
Okay.
Go.
So you mentioned Getty. I've always wondered how this works. Normally with photography, photographer takes a picture, clicks the shutter, it's his photo. He owns the rights unless he sells the copyright.
Right.
So how does this work? Because whenever your pictures are online, it always says, or at least on Instagram for the Moose stuff, it says copyright Jonathan Kozub. But when it's NHL stuff, it always says copyright either NHL or Getty.
Yes.
Who owns the copyright?
So for the NHL, I have a work for hire contract.
Okay.
Basically what that is, they pay me a flat rate to shoot the game. NHL owns all the property that I shoot. So basically every photo I take is owned by the NHL.
Copyright Gary Bettman.
Yeah, they have the rights. It's their collection, right?
Okay.
They've basically just hired me on to shoot their stuff, and they own everything, and they can do whatever they want with it, right? And they just pay me
Can you use the images?
for portfolio. So I use my images per portfolio. I can't sell them.
Okay.
Because I don't own them, right?
Yeah, but you're allowed to obviously you put them on your website.
Yeah, I put them
and
up.
stuff
I show you what I can do. Like this is what I shoot, right?
Yeah. But you couldn't. Yeah, you couldn't take a picture of Mark Scheifele and sell it to Coca-Cola or whatever.
No, that's got to be straight through the league, right?
Okay, so
and the
league
league
copyright.
That's right. In the league, that's how they make their revenue on it, right?
Okay. Did you think of what you were gonna say, or because I got another question? I keep
you
going.
know, there's lots of answers come out here. I'm trying to think how I want to say this. Okay, so the stuff. Okay, Getty is it's the league partner, so Getty hosts our photos, right?
Yeah, I mean, Getty is massive.
Right. They have their own shooters. They come to games too and stuff. Getty just hosts the photos for the league.
And Getty shoots for anything. Like they're Mega News and...
They're a media conglomerate.
Empire, yeah.
Empire. Yeah.
So they just host the images.
Yeah.
So when there's like that typical picture of whatever, and then there's that gray bar, it says Getty Images. Getty doesn't own the copyright. The league does. Getty just hosts it.
For the NHL Images collection. Anything that's NHLI, my name, NHLI via Getty, league owns it. Getty just hosts it for us.
Okay, so basically, Getty
like the
is
guys
just
who are
the
just
website.
like a Getty shooter or Getty stringer or whoever who submits to Getty, Getty would own that one, I would think, right?
Okay. Can Joe Schmo be is Getty like a stock image site in that way? Can anybody sign up to shoot for Getty?
It's pretty controlled. I don't know a lot about that. Like I know people is iStock run by Getty, stuff like that.
I haven't looked in so long. I don't know.
I don't shoot any of that, so I don't know. But to actually shoot for Getty, the standards are pretty ridiculous.
Okay.
Not ridiculous. Scrap that. to shoot for Getty, their standards are pretty high.
Okay.
Like you will never submit a bad image. You only give them the best of the best storytelling, right? Crisp, clear images. They have a certain, resolution standard you got to use, just to keep they want to keep themselves separate from the rest, right?
Yeah, they want to keep themselves to a higher standard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now for the Moose, why do I keep saying IHL? They haven't existed in 20 years. Does the AHL own the contract or the copyright, or is that you?
It's a gray area.
Okay.
I don't sell the photos, but honestly, I don't think they even care.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
because I know on your Instagram, on your watermark, the AHL stuff always says
Yeah.
copyright Jonathan Kozub. So now, like how I started this podcast talking about hockey cards
yes.
for Upper Deck or whoever today is doing hockey cards.
Yeah.
That's those images, of course, like we just said, league owned.
Yeah.
Copyright, so they license them, I guess.
That's right. Yeah.
So now, do you ever get any free hockey cards?
No.
Okay.
I look for them like everybody else. I go to stores. I'll get them off eBay. But I recognize my photo, right?
Yeah.
Like I have a certain...
That must be hard, though. I mean, if you're shooting 800 pics per game, you're shooting millions of photos over the years.
Yeah, but if you think about it, of those... I actually shot over 1 million already. I'm over that. Yeah. As far as like Jets are concerned, like NHL, like I remember...
If it's a Jets picture, it's yours.
If I shoot 800 in a game, maybe we're only picking 100 that are actually going up to Getty. Right?
Okay.
And,
I guess that's true. So the rest are just garbage and they're deleted or whatever.
Well, no, everything's archived. I don't delete a thing.
Okay.
Delete button doesn't exist for me. If I shoot it, it stays. You know?
Do you have to keep it on like your own person, or would like the team keep it on a server or something?
Everybody keeps it. Well, I don't know if the team doesn't care too much. The league likes to keep everything. We call them unedited full tapes.
Oh, so it'd get uploaded to the NHL.
Yeah, I give them everything. Everything that's not like if it's a dark shot or if it's a useless shot, I get rid of it.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. You can look back on a photo. Oh, let's look back on a game 5 years from now, or 5 years ago, and it's like, oh, something I would have not submitted is like, oh, there's somebody in there, or there's a certain player that might be of note. Mm-hmm. So it is beneficial to save everything, because you never know. You can go back on that footage, like, oh, look, there's that guy right there, or some story you might need, and you have a photo of it, right?
So I guess with basically almost any Jets card is probably your photo.
There's a good chance. Well, see, here's the thing. Upper Deck has their own shooter as well at a game.
Oh, okay.
And then I have my co-shooter with me. My second shooter, he shoots a lot of stuff too.
Would Upper Deck have someone at every game?
Most of the time, well, during the season. I think the playoffs, they can't. In the playoffs, they're not allowed to. All the stuff is content from us.
Okay.
Right? But Upper Deck can choose from Getty too, I imagine. So if there's a Getty shooter at a game.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Is there any photo or any card that you know of that's like a big deal, that's an image you took that's worth like a lot of money, or don't really know?
No, at the biggest,
like some Young Guns rookie card of
I got
Line A or something.
The Scheifele Young Guns mine, Scheifele and Kyle Connor. Those
are
mine, yeah. For Jet players, I mean, last year I got, who else did I get for Young Guns? I got Luoto and has it been that long since we played already?
It's been a while.
Number 19.
On the Jets?
Yeah. Is my mind really gone? Oh my goodness.
I'd have to look it up. I don't know. The last year or so has been a blur for me and players. Yeah, some season ticket holder you are, Kyle.
Some team photographer you are. I can't remember his name. Okay, anyway, probably cut that out. So my favorite, my best Young Guns were Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor.
Okay.
Period. I remember those. I know those shots. But you know what else you're looking at? Everybody's got a shooting style.
Yeah.
Like I will never shoot something where a guy's looking down. Like for me, the eyes always have to be open, looking at the play, something, whereas a lot of guys don't shoot that way. Mm-hmm. So I know what's mine.
Now, you said in one of the videos I watched online that you look more for moments than specific shots. Because like I was thinking, do you have a favorite shot you've ever taken? But I guess it might be more of a favorite moment. Like I don't know, like when Buff absolutely murdered Mark Stone. Like, did you get a good picture of that? Like, does something stand out? Like, I know it's been almost...
When did that happen? It's been a while, right?
That's probably like 4 years ago at least, I would think. But I mean, not necessarily that.
I might have it. We're talking Buff. How many times he...
But I don't mean that specifically, but like, is there a moment where your favorite moment you've shot?
I think for me, the stuff I'll remember more is either the big goals or the big... I'll remember the big moments for the team.
Okay.
Because everybody remembers that.
Yeah.
Like I'll remember the overtime winner, or I'll remember the first time we had the first playoff game at Bell MTS.
And you got that Pavlik shot.
The Pavlik shot. I've tried to recreate that, by the way. It's
with the Hellebuyck. I thought the Hellebuyck one was cool.
It was good, but the fans weren't as crazy. Like in the Pavlik shot, the fans were going nuts. They're waving the towel, right? And
because Hellebuyck, I think, is looking at the camera.
Yes.
But Pavlik isn't.
No, I was just kind of like looking up, kind of like, wow. I think that makes the photo because everybody was in awe. Like that was such a crazy, surreal moment.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that game? Well,
yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you put it to words this day? I don't think. Can you?
I don't think so. It was. I think it was louder than the first game.
Yeah, it was unreal. People are gonna laugh at me with the Jets production here, but coming out to the Top Gun theme, like, come on. That was
it's sick. Like
you can't even recreate that ever. That's as epic as Vancouver doing Where the Streets Have No Name. You know what I mean? Coming out like Jets coming out to that, and I think everybody was so hungry for playoffs. We hadn't been playoffs for 19 years, right?
Yeah,
or whatever it was,
something like that.
And everybody was just the emotions were high in the building. You know, people were going crazy, with waving the towels. Like it was like a whiteout, but it wasn't just people sitting there. Like it was like with all the towels going, it felt like a shimmering. You know, like around you.
It was, I mean, the Nashville series a couple years later was a different type of energy. Like it was hype, but it was different. It was kind of like we've been here before.
Yeah, and maybe that is because it was the first time, right?
Maybe.
But I'm not saying. Who says if we go to Stanley Cup Finals one day?
Oh,
with crowd. With crowd.
That'll dwarf everything.
Then I'm sure that. But again, it's a special moment, and. You can't. You know what? Here's the thing. This is the whole thing. You can't really ask too much out of what you're capturing. Like if you're at a special moment like that, that was a moment in history. Capturing that was just pure gold.
Yeah.
And whether I'll ever be able to capture something like that again, I don't know. Maybe the next time something that crazy will have its own special twist, right? Mm-hmm. And that's basically, as a photographer, you're just documenting what you can get at that moment. And because it was really cool, that's why I remember that, right? Like there's so much other stuff. You remember little things. You might remember hits or incidents or something, but certain ones just stick with you. And I think it's, as a photographer, it's very emotional. Like a picture I might like, you might look at it, it's like, oh, why you like that picture? Mm-hmm. But I like it because I remember the time when I took that.
Yeah,
that means something to me, right? Whereas to the average person or someone maybe who wasn't there, it's like, okay, it's just a picture. So I think there is a bit of the definition of what a good moment is kind of biased by the photographer a little bit, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay. So would the playoffs be like your top moment that you've been like a part of so far?
I should have thought harder for this stuff.
That's okay.
Man,
no problem. You don't have to.
No, there's been some good moments.
I mean, the Heritage and the stadium stuff is pretty cool too.
The Heritage was good.
Which one? The one here?
The Regina Heritage was awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it helped that the Jets scored a goal.
Well, yeah, but even that, we went down to the last 5 minutes for Morrissey put that puck in the net, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But then there was such sudden change. Okay, this is the thing. In those final, I don't even know how far we scored into overtime. Maybe 3 minutes in, roughly, estimate maybe.
Okay.
It was basically the final 8 minutes of play. You had the left 5 minutes left in regulation. We scored the goal, and then we tied it, and then overtime when Little scored. Just those few minutes of hockey was one of the greatest things I had ever shot. And maybe because we won, right? And it was the first time in history to win an outdoor game. But, it was really special.
That's cool.
And I remember that in some ways it almost dwarfed out the first Heritage Classic for me. The first Heritage Classic was awesome. Like when you had even the alumni game.
Because you shot the alumni game too, right?
Yeah, like that was amazing. And that still is awesome. But for me, that overtime win, I think for 3 years we were like, oh, we could have, we should have got. We didn't even get a goal.
I know.
Right?
Yeah, that was tough.
And you can't even blame. It's not even on the players. It's just the luck of the game. Yeah. Right. It's the way it happens.
It's just the way it happens.
And I think it was a storybook ending to at least get ourselves back in there. Right. Come out with a victory, and that was a nice goal too.
Yeah, that was a good game. I thought of something that I wanted to go back to from before.
Yeah.
Shooting a different sport.
Yeah.
Would you even have time? Like, if you wanted to I want to try and shoot baseball for the Gold Eyes, or I want to do some freelance stuff for the CFL. Would you even have time in the summer, or are you too busy with other commitments?
Let me put it this way.
Like, is it all encompassing?
It's shooting hockey, and especially shooting 2 pro teams.
Yeah.
It is the hardest. Mentally, it's tough. You work a lot. I'm not going to joke. I work there at one point this year, before the COVID came around. I worked about 45 days straight. I mean, I didn't have days off. Like mentally, you're burned.
Yeah.
You're burned out. It's
And people are like, oh, well, you're working for 2.5 hours during the game.
yeah, but
Like, you're not working at 9, 10 a.m.
Realistically,
but that's not true.
on a game day, the office opens at 8:30. So I'm getting requests. I'm getting corporate requests. Like tonight, I need you to shoot the.
Are you in the office at like 9 a.m.? Like at the arena?
I work from home. And thank
Okay.
goodness I couldn't handle doing that. There's too much.
That'd be tough.
Right?
That'd be brutal.
I don't leave a Jets game till between 12 and 1 sometimes. Sometimes 11 if I can get out fast, but between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m.
Okay.
Imagine being there from 8 in the morning, whatever.
What time do you get to the rink? Before the players?
Depends. If it's special requests, maybe. So if I got to shoot the dressing room before, I'll get there. I have to be there about 3 o'clock.
Okay.
Realistically, you try for 5:30.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's still over 6.5 hours.
Yeah. And then
Minimum.
don't forget, everything I shoot, so my editor goes and edits during the game. But then after, we do a second edit to Getty as well, right? Or to the league, where we pick... The first edit's usually game story. So, like, the goals or the teams matching up or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the second one's usually requests, like isolated player shots, individual shots, guys making their first appearance, just to have stock footage.
Okay.
So then after all that game, you got to go and edit through another, we usually give 50 to 100 of a second edit photos, right? So after a game is done, I still got to work a chunk of the next day to edit more. You know what I mean? So it's not just a one, game's done, you're done, click, click. You know what I mean? Like a game is a good 2-day process.
Wow. Plus
you're archiving. So if I've taken, let's say I took 1,500 shots during the game. Hopefully not, but if it's that high, then I also have my second shooter, Darcy. If he shoots pretty low. I don't know. He shoots about 500 or 600. He deletes his, right? So it actually saves me from having to, go through them all. But that's still 2,000 photos to upload.
Huh.
I have to upload 2,000 photos to the league after every game, or whatever I have the unedited takes, right?
How long does that take? Like, is it? Hopefully, you got fast internet.
I pay for fast internet now. It's.
So you're doing that at home? I guess not. That's not at the rink. Before
I
you
do
go
at home.
home.
The Rink's got fast internet too, but I got to make sure everything's tagged, with his byline,
So do it
his
at home.
credit, his name, my name. It's a lot of work. Got to make sure everything, the dates are right.
Tedious work.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't make a
And
mistake.
then now the other thing too is you're, in addition to fulfilling league requests, I'm also fulfilling the team requests. And this is where it's been harder this year. We've got a new system where we can tag individual players. Like, let's say I'll go through it. Whatever the stuff that goes to Getty is one thing, but there might be good photos that aren't uploaded to Getty, like isolated players, or something we can use internally for the team. So I still go through it and I tag, okay, for the Mark Scheifele picture, tag it 55, and then my program will fill in Mark Scheifele 55. So then after, there's metadata in there that the team internally can go search that photo. I need photos of Scheifele from Jets versus Wild on such and such a day, and it'll bring up because we've tagged that photo. We never had to do that until this year, and it's actually a lot of work when you have games back to back to back combined with Moose. It's overwhelming. I've fallen behind so much trying to keep up with it.
Yeah, that's a lot more work than you would think it would be.
Well, it is because you're going through each photo that are good photos, but then to tag metadata onto those photos.
Oh.
And that's what's taking up most of my time.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm going to say it's awesome because if you do have to find a certain player, type in the name and all the data.
But then you got to go through how many thousands of pictures for one player. That would also kind of suck too.
Yeah, but I mean, you're picking the best too.
Okay.
I mean, we're not going to pick one where it's awful. Like you pick one that would be used. The way I gauge a photo is that if you would use it in a magazine, then that's a good photo. Mm-hmm. Meaning, I don't want them blinking. I don't want them looking away if possible. I want them head up, looking at me, looking at the puck, head up ice. Stuff that you can market, you know what I mean?
And you've had pictures in magazines, like you've probably been in Hockey News and stuff like that.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Would they just take it right off of Getty, or do they contact you for that?
No, that's all through the league.
Okay.
Yeah, they probably have I don't know how they do that on that end. But
So you're looking through the Hockey News, you're like, hey, that's my picture. Sick.
Yep. Yeah.
That's cool.
And that's exciting too. It's like, oh, it's a picture. It's awesome.
Like, that's awesome.
But I'll basically put it this way. I shoot the pictures. Everything else that appears out in print, that's all done through the league.
Okay.
They license their photos, yeah.
What sort of relationship do you have with the players? Do you get to know them pretty well, or is it pretty like arm's length?
You keep it professional.
Yeah.
You don't. If people think you work for the Jets, you guys go for beers after. It's like no.
But it'd be first name basis.
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they know who you are. They see you 45 games a year and then preseason, or you go to team events.
Yeah, you're not gonna go out for.
No, they recognize you. They know who you are. Some guys will be a little more personal than others. I've dealt with some guys for personal shoots on their own.
Okay, that's cool.
But yeah, it's a business. You just treat them like the players. The players are people like you and I, and this is where people tend to blow it out. They're like, oh my god, they're
like there's some deity.
Yeah, right. They're royalty or they're gods or this or that. And it's like, no, they're just humans like us, right?
Yeah.
They want their privacy. They want their, you just have to respect that from them.
Mm-hmm.
If the players need something, I'm there for them, but I don't. We're kind of just two different things. I'm just a pro doing my job. They're a pro doing their job, and if they need to connect for some reason, then they do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I asked this already.
Yeah.
Favorite spot to shoot from? Is it the catwalk?
Catwalk's neat because you get the goals from above. You know what's nice about a catwalk? If we're talking goal mouth, you can see there's no obstructions really, so you could get a really cool shot.
I get a kick out of it because my seats are in the upper deck, 315. So every once in a while, I'll see you in front of me up above, and I'm like, oh, there he goes. Yeah. Do you have views of the whole ice from up there? Like, if you wanted, is one part of the catwalk above the goal, and then you can go to center ice?
There's obstructions. That the score clock is massive. The new score clock is so big. You used to be able to see both ends some ways. Now that massive jet ring is huge. The north end, second period Jets attack is pretty good for the goal mouth.
Different than the other side, eh?
Yeah, the other side is more straight down, and I don't know. The catwalk is an awesome place to shoot from. You just got to pick your moments. You got to think about safety first anytime you're using gear up there. But you get some really nice shots, whether it be celebrations, players flying by the bench, high-fiving, or overhead goal shots. Those are amazing. But it's a nice place to shoot. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it's got its moments.
Okay.
There you go.
Fair enough.
There you go.
Fair enough. It would be...
Okay. Do you have a favorite places to shoot or no?
Yeah, we can.
Or do you want to say something first?
No, yeah, we can. Yeah, favorite places to shoot. Go ahead, list them off.
I'll tell you favorite places. Obviously, the corners in front of the nets are good, right?
And that's shooting through the hole in the glass.
Through a hole in the glass.
Okay.
There's no obstruction really, except the ref, right? So corners are good in the attack zone. A lot of photographers don't like shooting from the concourse, but I actually like it because you can nail both teams at the same time.
And that's like shooting from behind the handicap sections, right? Like, is that what those
shooting,
photographers are standing?
Shooting center ice or blue line. Yeah, those sections are actually okay. But shooting from the center ice, you can get both action on both sides, right? So you're never going to miss a goal, really, unless you're not watching for it. But it's also easier, I think, to focus on the players, too, because the depth of field tends to shrink when you're pointing down.
Like you're talking about shooting from the concourse?
Yeah, shooting the concourse. I think you get some nice isolated shots that way.
Okay.
If you ever look at hockey calendars, a lot of the calendar companies tend to use shots from up top looking down.
Okay.
And it's probably because there's less, you can edit out the ads or they want to cut out stuff. You're shooting basically against a white backdrop,
Mm-hmm. And then you also shoot between the bench?
Yes, not so much now for Jets because they sell those tickets to like corporate initiatives, corporate sponsors.
Between the benches? Like where the broadcaster would be?
If you notice, they don't have broadcaster there very much anymore.
Huh.
The Sportsnet games, the national coverage ones do, but for most games, there's players or there's fans sitting in those seats.
No, I never noticed that.
Yeah.
So they would have to get there the same way the broadcaster does, like over the bench?
No, they open up.
Or they
come down the center, down the stairs. Yeah.
Okay.
And
I never noticed that.
Kind of dangerous though too. There was a time this year. I don't even remember what team it was.
Would there be glass there in front then
there's
if someone's
glass,
sitting there?
But they've got the curved glass, because you got to have it curved between the benches there.
But it's not open like when the broadcaster was there. If someone's sitting there, it's glassed.
Sealed up. But I remember this year, somebody butt ended with his stick, and it actually shattered a hole right through the glass. And of course, fortunately, the arena ops guys, they carry spare plates of glass or whatever. But I mean, you think that one's kind of a weird one because it's at the angle.
Yeah.
They replaced it. The game went on hold for about 10 minutes or whatever. But yeah.
But when you were shooting, like I know you've mentioned, you've been hit a few times.
Yeah. So for Moose, I shoot almost solely between the benches, and just the reason I do that is for game story. I can hear what's going on.
Yeah.
Let's face it. when you shoot between the benches, you hear the chirping, which is great.
Yeah.
But you hear a lot of stuff that you can't hear from up top, and you kind of know who to look for. It helps your game story a lot.
Okay.
And you have access to both ends of the ice, right? So for Moose, when I got to shoot both teams, and the league needs photos, like AHL needs photos for their content, that's my best spot. As opposed to me going, I'm just going to shoot the one corner and shoot one team attacking only. Is great unless I have like a 300 or 400 millimeter pointed at the other end, like to try to capture everything. But the middle is nice because you get everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when you've been hit, did you ever need stitches, or did I know you were a helmet?
Very fortunate. You heard about the one I got hit. Mark Stewart check back I was between the net.
Yeah, you posted that one, didn't you?
Yeah, you might have seen that one. Okay, so
you got to check out his Instagram for some of this stuff, guys. Like, it's good.
Yeah, it was like 5 years ago, maybe. I don't even remember. Mark Stewart was our defenseman for the Jets, and he came in on Vernon Fiddler. He was played for Dallas at the time, and the hit was an okay hit, I think. But the momentum, Mark's stick came down and clipped me on the just above the eye. But I had the helmet on, but I actually had a bit of a black eye just under the helmet. If you're just above my eyebrow,
so it hit the helmet.
It hit the helmet and a bit of my eye.
Okay.
But if I didn't have the helmet, it would cause some damage, right?
Yeah,
and so I had a bit of a black eye. Everybody thought, oh, it looks like your eyebrow. But then if you look at the picture carefully, you can see a bruising starting. And
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's a cool
you know
story.
what? Actually, speaking of getting hit, this is a total crazy story. Back in the old Moose 1.0, I got hit, 2000 in the playoffs, 2008 maybe? Oh, I don't think it was the year we went to the finals. I can't remember. See, concussion syndrome, right? Yeah, and I think I might have had a concussion from that. Okay, so I was shooting in the corner back. You can picture where the visiting teams come out today.
Yep.
For NHL. I was shooting in that corner. We don't shoot from there anymore. And they used to have, before they put locks on the gates, this started because of Bufflin, by the way. But before that, if you hit the board hard enough, the gate.
Yes, it would pop open.
If it lifted a little bit, the door would pop open, right? And I don't know if the security guy didn't shut the door properly, but do you remember Brandon Reed?
Yes.
He was a short little fast guy, right? Some guy ran him into the boards from like Hamilton Bulldogs or something. And I remember I was shooting, the door popped open on me, hit the camera, hit my lens hit me in the eye, and it hit pretty hard, actually. It didn't cut anything. And I remember hitting back and falling back on the grid behind me, for the mesh. Man, the headaches I had after that, like the next day I almost felt like I had a fever. I don't know, maybe looking
that's
back.
Probably a concussion for sure.
Concussion. I didn't shoot the next game after. I stayed home.
Yeah. You would have been good in the quiet room if you were a player.
Yeah.
Except back then
if
you wouldn't have been.
Watching,
Back then you would have been on the ice.
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, that's what you say, right? Because nobody wants, and I think this is the thing with the players too. You get hit that hard, that would be embarrassing. You don't want to be like, oh, I just got laid out. Oh, okay, no, I'm weak, right? Same thing. I got hit, and it's like, oh, yeah, I'm fine. You shrug it off, but it was.
And the adrenaline masks it.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And I imagine these guys who were going full tilt, their adrenaline's flying, and then you get hit, like, oh, you're fighting through it, but. Yeah, that was probably the worst thing I ever felt, hit-wise.
Okay.
And it was worse than any puck, being hit with any puck. It was, I had headaches after
those
that.
Doors are...
Yeah, and so what happened is now they've put a little latch, which can only be changed from the inside. So once the security guy lets the player on the ice, they close the door. There's a little thing you flip so that the gate can't open.
Okay.
So kind of like when you go to a community rink and you stick your hockey stick in the...
Yeah, so you can't open it from the ice now.
You can't open it from the ice for those doors, yeah.
Huh, okay.
Yeah, which makes sense, though. Saves people.
Well, I mean, some of the hits that we've seen over the years of doors flying open.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, and think about it, too, for the players.
Yeah.
Imagine a hit coming in.
I forget who that was that he got a hole in his intestine like 10, 15 years ago. I forget. I don't know if that was a Montreal player. The gate, he got body checked, went into the gate, and the thing opened, and like he ruptured his bowel. But I forget who that was. But I mean,
I've heard stuff like that.
Like Don Cherry went on lots of rants over the years about that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, rightfully so.
That's, you know what? It's a simple game, but little things like that. I remember when a Moose player, remember Josef Bally?
Yeah.
Didn't he get impaled by his own stick? He got stuck in the board or something?
I think that sounds familiar.
He either lacerated a kidney or he had some kind of crazy injury like that.
Oof.
And, you take it for granted until you hit that thing, going at pretty fast speed,
Yeah.
But,
couple other things right before we're getting to the end here.
Yeah.
Then not a lot of people have a postage stamp with
Yeah,
an
that
image of
was
theirs
cool.
on there.
That was the first Jets goal, first Jets 2.0 goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, sorry, Nick Andropov. The goal sucked. It was like the lamest goal I've ever seen in my life. But I mean, I guess it counts for something.
You know what? There was just a lot of hype to get that goal. Hey,
There was.
Everybody, we watched the whole game to get it. Everybody's like, we got to get that goal. Every photographer wanted to get it. For some reason, I chose the far blue line with a 300 millimeter lens. And it was just a matter of fluke timing. Had I shot it from the broadcast side, I wouldn't have seen the puck go in because Antropov would have been in the way.
Yeah.
So it was just the right place, right time.
I know you couldn't see it from my seat. You could not see the goal the puck go in.
You're saying spot still 315?
Yeah, I was in 315. Like I just remember there was just a big commotion, people falling onto the net.
There's people, yeah. You were just at the bad angle for it, right?
Yeah, like I couldn't see the puck go in.
How do you pick that, right? Nobody knows, right?
Oh no, exactly. Yeah.
Again, that's just pure fluke. You get,
but that's cool though. I mean,
yeah. And
do you have any of those stamps?
Yeah, I bought one. They were, man. I think when it first came out, how much were they?
They're like
they were
probably collectibles.
Yeah, they were expensive.
You still have it?
I still have it somewhere. My
My
mom probably has it. I thought I would have had one for me too.
That's pretty.
It's
cool,
probably
though.
put away somewhere. Yeah.
So
I scanned it first day I got it.
Peter McKinnon has a coin. Jonathan Kozub has a Canadian postage stamp.
Yes. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's sick.
October 9th, 2011. Yeah, that was a crazy game.
Yeah, that was a cool game to be there.
Yeah, but it took midway to the third to get that shot, right?
Oh, I remember thinking,
right?
I thought that was going to be like well, I mean, not that we knew that we were getting Heritage, but that's what it reminded me of is like, are we going to actually not even have a goal in the first game?
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? It would have been typical. It wouldn't have surprised me at all. But
yeah, some things happen at crazy times, right? But that was good.
So, one thing I usually do when we end the podcast, I've got a bunch of like random questions, just closing questions.
Okay.
Some people would probably do this at the very beginning to break the ice, but I like doing them at the end.
Yeah.
So we'll go through those now. These are just fun. There's no right or wrong answer.
Okay.
Strangest, most exotic place you've lost or damaged gear.
I would say exotic place. Just the hockey rink.
The hockey rink, that's fine.
I dropped my lens. Okay, Moose 1.0, I was running for a shootout once. I didn't zip my pouch up. I wear a belt, right?
Yeah.
And I shattered my 17-40.
That's an expensive mistake.
I regret that to this day. Yeah, I still want to get it, but it's like, maybe one day if the price drops, if it's a good sale, maybe, but I missed that. It shattered. You got it fixed. It's like a car. Once you get in an accident with it,
It's not the same.
It's not the same. So that was that.
It's a paperweight now.
Yeah, unfortunately. It burns just thinking about it. And then I was also hit with a puck. Patrick Maroon, when I was trying to shoot Team Solani. And his final game, Winnipeg, Patrick Maroon was playing for the Ducks, and he ringed the puck all the way around the board, clipped the edge of my camera. Didn't shatter it, but my 7200 now.
It bent the ring or something, didn't it?
I can't put a filter on it now, which is...
But can you still use the lens?
Oh, I use it every game. I still use it for Jets. And
so what type of filter would you put on it normally? Just an ND or a polarizer?
Just a UV protector. That's what I put.
So
yeah, but it would be nice to have like a ND if I want to shoot outside, or even a polarizer. Stuff I would on a 7200. Usually I use them on the wider lenses.
Okay.
But now I can't use any of them, so that really that sucks.
That one.
I would get it fixed, but it's kind of like the lens still shoots. If it optically was messed up, then I would get it fixed. But it still shoots. So I mean,
so Winnipeg Hockey Club, if you're listening, if Mr. Kozub here is getting a bonus, maybe throw him a new lens. Now you know what to get.
Yeah.
Pie or cake?
You're asking a guy who likes that stuff. Honestly, if we're talking cherry pie,
anything you want,
but cake's good too. I will never turn down a cake.
What?
Cherry pie.
Cherry pie.
Cherry
okay.
pie.
Coke or Pepsi?
Who's a sponsor right now? No, I was joking.
Oh, that's actually a good point.
Yeah, I got to be careful what I say
Who
here.
sponsors the Jets? Oh, you can skip the question if you want.
You know what, though? A Coke sponsor. I think over time, Coke has got more of the bite.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
actually, this reminds me, while we're talking about, what's your favorite food at the rink? Like, what do you like? I mean, you don't have really time to eat.
Oh, when I'm eating, what is there?
Which actually, maybe you don't even get to because you never get to watch the game as a fan.
Do you know it took me it took me a good 8 or 9 years to have my first jet dog.
I believe it, because when do you have time?
I've never had time, and
You need to get an extra pouch on your belt and just put 1 or 2 hot dogs in there.
Kind of like the goalies hide the hot dog in the glove, right? Yeah.
Just noodles.
Yeah.
Did you read his book? That's such a good book.
Oh, man, there's some good stories these guys telling.
Yeah.
Hope the coach doesn't see, right? You know what? That's a tough thing. Honestly.
Did you put pierogies on that jet dog?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, honestly, in a rush, the pierogies are pretty good.
Okay.
Honestly, because you always smell them every time you're running in through that section.
Mm-hmm.
Pierogies are good at the... We're talking arena food, right?
Yeah, like at Bell MTS.
They used to have a good pasta place. I didn't think they had it last season.
They got rid of it.
Yeah,
it only lasted 1 or 2 years.
I would go there all the time. If I had a chance, I would go eat there.
It was pretty good.
Just because I like pasta. But
all the food there is good. Like
there, you know what? I've been to other rinks, like as a fan and shooting whatever, and Winnipeg's got some pretty good food. Yeah. We do. Honestly.
Well, Winnipeg's a foodie city, and people don't realize that.
Some places, you know, they just have their pizza. They have it, which is fine. Pizza's fine. I like pizza.
Well, I went to MSG. It's almost 10 years now.
Yeah.
I wasn't blown away with anything at MSG.
Yeah. You think, oh, wow, it's going to be like...
And I went to a Knicks game and a Ranger game.
Yeah.
And it was just like, whatever.
Was it the same? It was the same.
I don't really remember, but I wasn't blown away with anything. I mean, it was not bad.
Yeah.
But that was 10 years ago. I mean, arena food has come a long way in 10 years.
Yeah. I'll tell you something, actually. I don't know if they still have this MTS, but the pizza they have there.
The pizza?
Yeah, I think is that this?
Yes, it's pizza. I think it's always been that. It was gondola with the moose before the Jets came.
So whatever they have right now, it's probably pizza.
And I don't know who does moose games now for pizza.
It'd be the same. It would be the same company. What's that thing they have? Is it called the Toba? The Tobin? Have you seen that pizza?
I think so.
It's basically like pierogies. This is such a Ukrainian thing.
There's
a couple of Ukrainians talking here, right? Yeah, so you have pizza. You have like pierogies on it. It's probably got like bacon and onion, sour cream.
I haven't had that actually.
I don't know if they have it all the time.
Okay,
but I've had it at a few concerts actually. It's like, man, that's good pizza.
Actually, yeah, that'd probably be the only time you can go have food is when you're at a concert.
Yeah, that's one of the rare times.
Next question: if you could go into space, would you?
I was a big space when I was a kid. I love you say I like airplane stuff. Mm-hmm. I was a big NASA fan back in the day. I watched every shuttle launch. Honestly, if it were me, I'd probably be the guy in mission control.
Okay.
In Houston or whatever. Looking up. I don't know if I would be. That's quite the risk to do that. I like the whole scientific factor of it. How everything's down to the second.
Yeah.
Everything, but not really.
Too much risk.
I'm not that adventurous yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mario Kart or Diddy Kong Racing?
Wow.
You definitely put the most thought out of any guest I've had into these questions.
Well, you got to be real, right? Mario Kart, I guess.
Okay. Movies or TV?
Now you're talking to a movie guru here. That's a tough choice.
Cinephile.
That's a tough choice. If it's good TV, yeah. Movies, I love movies. I think my wife and I have probably.
So movies.
Oh, we've seen hundreds, thousands, maybe. Yeah.
Fallon or Kimmel?
They're both good guys. Okay, wait. Oh, this is no. I can't pick. I love Jimmy Fallon. I think he's a great host.
Okay.
And the stuff he gets on are funny, but Jimmy Kimmel's just as good.
It's almost a tough question because I based this question off the old Leno or Letterman when there only was two that mattered. I mean, now there's Colbert, there's Trevor Noah.
Yeah.
There's 5 guys, 5 or 6. So I mean, the question's kind of unfair.
I would say those two, both Jimmys, are good at what they do.
Yeah.
And I would give them the time of day just because I respect them both.
If you could photograph any celebrity, who would it be?
Now we're sounding like paparazzi here. I don't
Anybody.
know. I don't know. Honestly, I don't really have a favorite.
Yeah.
I was
Wayne Gretzky,
excited.
Mike Bossy.
I shot Gretzky already, right? I shot Gretzky
okay.
technically, right?
So, okay.
Bossy, yeah. You know what? This is going to sound silly, but I was actually excited a couple years ago at the NHL draft. I shot Jerry Bruckheimer. You know,
Hey, that's cool. Oh, yeah.
Now
Big
he's
time
the
producer.
owner, right? He was really nice too, and I shot pictures of him. They're up on Getty now, and I just kind of think, wow, that was the coolest thing. Because I mean, I see hockey players all the time. It's not a big deal for me. But guys who are, you see, it's like, yeah, that was a pretty cool one. I did shoot. I don't have any big wish to shoot anybody.
That's fine. Did you see any celebrities at any of those big outdoor games or anything? Like anybody rolling around?
Not really. Well, I'm kind of tied to the ice.
Okay.
I see who performs up close, but yeah, no, not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is the last one. If you could only have access to one media format for the rest of your life, will it be music, movies, or TV?
You can't make it any harder than this.
This is the one that usually gets people, because then they're like, well, do the other ones not exist? Or am I only allowed to? And it's like, because they're like, well, there's music in movies. But that's not what the question is. So you only get one. You can't watch movies or TV. If you pick music, you can't watch movies or TV. Like that's what. So you can.
But that's the thing. Are you stuck to just the same ones, or are you allowed to keep watching new stuff?
No, it would be so like new movies or new TV would come out, but you can only access that form of media. So no more listening to music if you're picking TV. No more going to the movies if you're picking TV.
That's a very
stupid
difficult,
question.
Creative question, right? Because I think everybody, in general, everybody's got music in their life, no matter what.
Yeah.
Right. But then the same thing with movies. Or TV. People spend their time. They remember things when they were young or whatever. How do you pick just one?
Fair enough.
You know what? I'm gonna give you. I can't give you an answer on that one.
That's fair enough.
It's just whatever I get stuck with. I guess that's what it is.
That's okay. You know what? You've been such a good guest. We'll let it go.
All right.
Jonathan Kozub, Point Shot Photography, official photographer for the National Hockey League's Winnipeg Jets. It's been a pleasure. Thanks again for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you all for listening today. If you enjoyed listening, please give us a thumbs up and follow and subscribe and rate and all that stuff. Unless you're like me and you just can't be bothered, then that's okay too. You'll find us on Instagram at The Third Rule. That's with the number 3, and on all podcast platforms. And we even try and throw up the audio on YouTube. My name is Kyle, and I'm at Ditter Designs. Thanks for listening. And as Red Green used to say, keep your stick on the ice.